Do you hear that whistle down the line? I figure that it's engine number 49.
She's the only one that'll sound that way on the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. See the engine coming round the bend.
I reckon that she knows she's gonna meet a friend.
Folks around these parts get the time of day from the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. Here she comes.
Hello everyone, Chris T here, NS Horse at SD70 with another Run 8 review. Today we'll be looking at the Run 8 team's other caboose pack offering, the Santa Fe Ce-11. The Santa Fe ordered 75 Ce-11s from the International Car Company in 1981. Just like the C-50-9s on the Southern Pacific, these were the last new cabooses purchased by the road. In 1984, the Santa Fe reached a new agreement with the labor union and the cabooses' days were numbered. Many of these cabooses survive today as shoving platforms in local service. The Ce-11 differs from the SP C-50-9 in that these have cupolas on top rather than the bay windows on the side. This allowed the rear brakeman and conductor a lofty perch from which to check over their train for potential problems. Now let's dive in and take a closer look at these. First, we'll start with the red Ce-11. This pack has three differently painted models: Indian Red, Mineral Brown, and Kodachrome. From my research, cabooses painted Indian Red, like this one here, had shock control or cushion underframe draft gear. This means the drawbar moves in and out with the slack action, allowing for a smoother ride. Unfortunately, this isn't modeled within Run 8. You've got crisp, legible writing on the car body with the ownership information at the upper left, running board info along the grab irons, and the model designation under the logo. You've also got the ACI tag under the cupola window, a signature detail on rolling stock of that era. On the end of the car, you'll notice the door has a vent. The brown and Kodachrome versions do not have this vent. It's one of the few differences between the three models. You'll also notice the same axle-driven generator used on the SP C-50-9, as well as the silver air brake control valve and air reservoir tank. The stepwells have a little weathering to them as well, showing the signs of service over their short lives. On top of the cupola roof, you'll notice a couple of details as well. You've got small air ventilation ports, a Sinclair ice skate antenna, and the smokestack for the stove. Now we'll move on to the Mineral Brown caboose. As stated before, the Indian Red cabooses have cushion underframes, and from that same research I found that the brown ones did not. I've rotated the model so we can get a look at the other side of the car. This side has two windows on the car body, whereas the other side only has one. You can also see the battery box under the car body. The biggest difference, besides the paint color, might be the font under the cupola, where the brown cars have a more modern font and the Indian Red car has a more classic styling. The lettering, lube plate, and ACI tags are all in the same location as before. And finally, we get to my favorite, the Kodachrome scheme. The Kodachrome scheme was born out of the failed merger of the Southern Pacific and Santa Fe Railroads, which would have created the SPSF reporting mark. The idea was that after the merger was approved, they'd just slap an SP or SF onto the appropriate car and it would be good to go. A couple of locomotives and cabooses actually had full SPSF paint for promotional photographs. But when the ICC struck down the merger on the grounds of it creating a monopoly, both roads were left with red and yellow rolling stock, a monument to being too overzealous. To which SPSF then meant shouldn't paint so fast. Again, not many details change here. The only change is that the ACI tag under the cupola is gone. The car body is entirely red and the end platforms are painted yellow, as are the stairwells. But like its counterparts in the pack, the lettering is crisp and legible and makes for a great ending to a mid-80s consist. Now let's hop inside and check out the interiors. The inside of the Ce-11 differs greatly from that of the SP C-50-9. Not much is the same. At this end of the car you have a lot of utility pieces. You have the stove, you have the fuel oil tank, and the water tank, clearly marked not for drinking. You also have two large benches and a door that appears to be the bathroom. In the middle of the car, you have some lockers and the steps leading up to the cupola, and you also have a grab iron mounted to the ceiling to hold on to. At the opposite end, you've got more seating, a switch broom mounted to the wall, fusee and torpedo boxes, the fire extinguisher, and the ice chest. Opposite that, you have the conductor's desk, a place to store paperwork, and a first aid kit. And then it's up into the cupola. There's a lot of good detail up here. You have the slack action and seatbelt warning stencils on the wall. You can see the windows where the wiper blades have been working. You have the working brake gauge up on the wall, which I demonstrated in my C50-9 video. Unfortunately, you can't initiate an emergency brake application from here. And on the floor, you have the radio and the footrest. And then you have the radio handset, which is wrapped around the railing. The Ce-11 also offers a little lighting detail at night too. When at the rear of a train, the marker light at the appropriate end of the car will light up. And inside, you have some overhead lighting in the hallway. And an orange glow from the stove. And that will do it for our review of the Santa Fe Ce-11 Cupola Caboose. 3 standard cabooses for the large Santa Fe territory we have in the sim, and in 3 different schemes to change up the colors a bit. If you'd like to pick these up, head on over to run8studios.com/trainsets, and you'll find them in the middle of the page on the right. I'll also provide a link in the description below. Keep an eye out for our next review of an add-on pack from the Run 8 team, and for more live streams here on my channel. Thank you for watching, and take care.